Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's Reverend Kent.
And Reverend Deanna.
Hey, and it's time for a story. Oh, I hope you're ready. I could use a good story tonight. Mm-hmm. Are you ready for a good story?
I always am ready.
Well, we hope that you can hear us better tonight. We sounded like woodchucks yesterday, or chipmunks, but I think we've got that problem solved. At least I hope so. Put your comments in the chat so that we can tell whether or not we've done it right, and let us know if you can hear us okay while we welcome everybody in. Mm-hmm. If this is your first time joining us, we're telling 25 stories between now and Christmas Day, like a little advent calendar. And we have an advent calendar behind us made by our friend Debonair Kovacs. And today we're going to pull out the third critter or special figure. Deanna, would you like to pull it out?
Yes, I would.
It is number 3. All right, we sound like ourselves, Deborah Payne has said. Thank you, Deborah. Great.
Good. Oh.
What's today's animal?
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
And?
It has a starfish. No, it has a parrot.
It has a parrot.
Well, that's great. Here's the tree. Here's the palm tree. And the parrot. All right. Well, where should we put it? Let's see. We've got some on the hill. I think this one we need to have a little foliage down here by the barn. Yeah.
It'll be a good windbreak.
Yep. All right. We'll put right here. There we are. And the parrot can roost right among it. There we go. Okay, we've got a parrot and a palm tree and all sorts of good things. Good. I'm glad the sound is working well. Thank you all. Oh, and yes, well, Terry, we're back to it being as wonderful as we ever were, which sometimes is not all that great. But we're glad to share what we've got with everybody tonight. We've got a great story tonight. And then Reverend Deanna's got a new ornament to put on the tree.
Oh, I already put it up.
Oh, all right. You want to point to it?
It's actually this handmade garland.
We have a handmade, beautiful garland on the tree. So, are you decorating for your houses yet? If you've already decorated, go ahead and put it in there. Or if you're waiting, there are some families that like to wait until later, and that's good too. We do a little combo package. Well, tonight we're going to tell a story called The Mitten. The Mitten by Jan Brett. It's a wonderful classic tale told by her, and we're going to go to Book Cam so that you can enjoy it with us. Book Cam. Ta-da! And Reverend Deanna's going to start us off.
Okay. Be sure to look at the pictures on the sides as well as the big ones. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow.
At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it.
But Nicky wanted snow-white mittens, and finally Baba made them. He really wore her down.
After she finished, she said, "When you come back home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound. But then I will look to see if you have your snow-white mittens."
So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Just like Baba said.
Baba knows all, baby. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. Oh, it was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay.
Who is this coming? A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for the moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them. But when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over.
Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along.
Ooh.
Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with somebody covered in prickles, they made room. You see him poking in there.
I'd be moving over. And here comes... Oh! As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in.
Yes.
They do not look pleased.
That's not a happy... No. That's definitely roommates of convenience. Well, now, up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. But the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumbs up.
Get those prickles sticking out of the mitten. What? It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room.
Yeah. This is especially expendo knitting technique.
I marvel at the stitches.
And look what's coming next. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear?
Oof. The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size. But Baba's good knitting held fast.
That's what happens when you knit with Kevlar. And yes, one of our listeners, Bruce, wants to know if someone is interpreting for the mole. And yes, the mole is having someone trace the letters on his hand. Well, along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left, probably in the pinky, and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose.
Ooh, my nose itches just looking at that. Look at that fox. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Oh, the force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions.
On his way home, Nicki saw a white shape in the distance shooting up above the snow. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky.
Look at all of them. Yay! As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens.
The end. And there's Baba, wondering just why is one mitten so much larger than the other. Well, that is the story of the mitten, and what great illustrations. Jan Brett is a wonderful illustrator, and if you have a chance to see this book in person, there's all kinds of little side detail that I know you'll enjoy. Well, I hope that you have had a good long day, and you are ready for a nice long sleep and rest. So it's time to curl up, gather up all that has been done for the day, and put yourself to a gentle rest. So we'll sing our good night song if you'll join us. We'd love to have you do it. Errol the Wonder Cat is lurking about somewhere.
Skulking.
Being terrible, lurking.
Yes.
Yes. And
Squeezing into a mitten, no doubt.
I think he's out hunting mittens, even as we speak. We hope that you are cozy and warm, no matter who you are snuggled in with, and hope that you have more than just a mitten to share. But here's our good night song, and please sing along with us if you would like. Good night, beloved mine. Good night, sleep well, my dear. Good night, beloved mine. Good night, sleep well, my dear. May cherubim and seraphim watch over you and hover near. Good night, beloved mine. Good night, sleep well, my dear. Well, come back tomorrow. It'll be the fourth day of our Advent stories, and I think you'll like the story a lot. It's going to be a good one. We're going to tell it live at 10 o'clock, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel or like the Facebook page, or you can also join the Facebook story group. But any way you'd like to do it, I hope that you'll share these with friends and family and have a little comfort and a little joy all the way through the season.
And you can watch them anytime.
They're on our YouTube, and that's the easiest way. And plus, a lot of folks can play the YouTube on their big TVs, so it might be easier for you. Anyway, we hope that you have a great night. We hope that Errol will leave our mittens alone, and we hope that you all will have a very pleasant evening.
Good night, all.
Good night.